excited Nigel Farage revels in the very good start his Brexit party has enjoyed as it tops the polls again ahead of the EU elections. Nigel Farage launched the new Brexit Party with an Anista-Rees-Mogg last week. Before the event took place, the outfit scored 15% in an EU election poll. A second poll yesterday saw the Brexit Party surge into the lead on 27%. A third survey shows a smaller lead, but Mr Farage's party is still in front by Tim Sculthorpe, deputy political editor for Mail Online, published, 8:26 BST, April 18, 2019, updated, 14:01 BST, April 18, 2019. Nigel Farage revelled in the very good start enjoyed by his new Brexit party today as a new survey showed it topping the polls for the EU elections. Mr Farage said it was clear the public are warming to us and he moves to crush both the Tory party and his old force UKIP. A new YouGov survey, the third in a week, for the Times today again shows the Brexit Party on top, leading Labour 23% to 22%. The lead is smaller than yesterday's sensational results, which showed the Brexit Party on 27%. In a further boost, a Comre's poll suggests Mr Farage's party is third when voters are asked about a general election, on 14%, with Labour leading on 33% and the Tories sinking fast on 23%. Boyle Sports made the Brexit Party the 4-1 favourites to win the EU elections, slashing the odds as the polls rolled in. Nigel Farage revelled in the very good start enjoyed by his new Brexit party today as a new survey showed it topping the polls for the EU elections. A new YouGov survey, the third in a week, for the Times today again shows the Brexit party on top, leading Labour 23% to 22%. The lead is smaller than yesterday's sensational results, which showed the Brexit party on 27%. But Mr Farage's new party is still ahead as UKIP launches its own campaign, 5 years after Mr Farage led it to victory at the last EU elections. Mr Farage added on Twitter, "They now have just 3 MEPs. The Brexit Party has 16. The lurch towards extremism has destroyed UKIP." Mr Farage told The Express, "We should be slightly cautious about polling at this stage, but, overall, the Brexit Party is off to a very good start." What does the Brexit Party want? Nigel Farage's Brexit Party is basically a single-issue party. It has been set up because of claims Brexit is being betrayed. The ex-UKIP leader has said most of his policies are the same as his old party, except on Islam, where he is strongly critical of the stance taken by current UKIP leader Gerard Batten. This suggests controlled immigration, tough law and order and low taxes are likely to end up in a wider manifesto. But at the EU elections Mr Farage will talk about only one thing, Brexit. "The public are warming to us. There's great grassroots support, large numbers of people joining, grassroots donations, and all of it feels very exciting. I think we will be announcing a few more candidates next week." Mr Farage, who has been a politician for 20 years and in the European Parliament since 1999, added, "People want a fresh, positive vision. They are tired of career politicians endlessly threatening them, sounding miserable and not believing in the country." As UKIP launches its own campaign, 5 years after Mr Farage led it to victory at the last EU elections, Mr Farage added on Twitter, "They now have just 3 MEPs. The Brexit Party has 16. The lurch towards extremism has destroyed UKIP. The elections on May 23 are only happening at all because the deal Mrs May negotiated with Brussels has been defeated 3 times by MPs. Writing in The Guardian yesterday, Mr Curtis said, "It is entirely plausible that we are facing another Farage-shaped upset at the ballot box. While there are more than 5 weeks of campaigning to go, I certainly wouldn't bet against him." Mr Curtis said there are many reasons to believe Mr Farage's new outfit could close the gap to the leading parties and win again. He said, Firstly, the Brexit Party has already achieved a 15% vote share as a force that is still fairly unknown, with the fieldwork for this poll taking place before the party officially launched last Friday. He added, meanwhile UKIP, which is currently dividing the vote share, has not only lost its main salesman, but now finds itself being openly attacked by him. It may be holding 14% of the vote share in our European Parliament poll, but it is easy to see how much of this could shift away once the campaign gets going. Adding to the trouble for Theresa May's, pictured in Wales on Sunday, party are fears of a donor strike amid fury at the Prime Minister's handling of Brexit. The Brexit Party has surged into the lead in the race for the European elections after a top pollster predicted Nigel Farage's new party could win its first election. The analysis comes amid claims the Conservative Party treasurer Sir Mick Davis has dipped into his own pocket to cover the campaign for Mrs May's party. One Tory source told The Times, Mick Davis is having to reach into his own pocket to fund campaigning, at least up front. Hope he will recoup it later, but Mick had to tell Cabinet recently about the dire funding situation, particularly among Remain-leaning donors, because of the situation on Brexit. Sir Mick has given £5.2 million to the Conservative Party since Electoral Commission records began, £295,000 of which was given in donations reported to the watchdog this year. He became chief executive and treasurer in June 2017, shortly after the Tories' botched general election. Annunziata Rees-Mogg was unveiled as the Brexit Party's star candidate at the European elections by Nigel Farage, and she blasted MPs including her brother. Pictured last week, Mr Farage launched his new Brexit Party and announced Jacob Rees-Mogg's sister Annunziata as his first star MEP candidate, as she quit the Tories after 35 years. Who is Annunziata Rees-Mogg? Jacob's younger sister, who stood as a Tory in 2010. Annunziata Rees-Mogg was unveiled as the Brexit Party's star candidate at the European elections by Nigel Farage. The younger sister of Brexit hardliner Jacob Rees-Mogg, Annunziata is a 40-year-old married mother of one. She last appeared on the political stage in 2010 as the Tory candidate in Somerton and Frome, losing to the Lib Dems by less than 2,000 votes. Ahead of the poll, it was claimed David Cameron asked her to shorten her name to Nancy Mogg, but she refused and later claimed, "I think it's phony to pretend to be someone you're not." Just like her older brother, Annunziata has been steeped in the family business of Tory politics since she was a child. She told The Independent in 2006 she joined the Tories aged 5 and added, "I was too young to be a young Conservative, so I joined a main party. Aged 8 I was out canvassing, proudly wearing my rosette." She currently works as a director of the public affairs recruiter Wild Search. She previously worked as a journalist for the Daily Telegraph and the European Journal, a magazine printed by the think tank owned by Tory Brexiteer Sir Bill Cash. Annunziata married former soldier Matthew Glanville in 2010 and they have a daughter, Isadora. The former UKIP leader has vowed to take votes from the tarnished party he left in December and started a new war of words with successor Gerard Batten by claiming he lacks good people and has allowed a takeover by the far right. Launching the party in Coventry, Mr Farage said it is no more Mr Nice Guy before unveiling his secret weapon. Ms Rees-Mogg, whose brother told Mail Online, "The Brexit Party is fortunate to have such a high-caliber candidate, but I am sorry that Annunziata has left the Conservative Party." His younger sister previously stood as a Tory candidate in the 2005 and 2010 general elections and joined the party aged 5, but has now jumped ship after Theresa May failed to deliver Brexit. She defected from the Tories to join Mr Farage's revolt. The 40-year-old mother of one, once one of David Cameron's cuties who refused party requests to doff her name to Nancy, blasted MPs, including her older sibling. At the launch she said, "The politicians are not our masters, they are to do our bidding. We need to fight back to take back our democracy. It's as drastic as that. It is our fight and we must fight to win." She said she had stuck with the Tories through thick and thin, but Brexit had been the last straw. She said, "But the point at which our Prime Minister will not listen, not only to her membership, but will not listen to the people of her country. I can't sit by and let her do it. We've got to rescue our democracy, we have got to show that the people of this country have a say in how we are run." Farage's new friends, who is in the new Brexit Party? Hardcore Brexiteers and disgusted ex-Tories are among the Brexit Party's first core group of candidates for the European elections in May, unveiled by Nigel Farage today. They include Jacob Rees-Mogg's young sister Annunziata, 40, and Richard Tice, the former chairman of the Fringe Leave Means Leave campaign during the 2016 referendum. The 40-year-old married mother of one is a former Tory parliamentary candidate. Annunziata Rees-Mogg, the younger sister of Brexit hardliner Jacob Rees-Mogg, was unveiled as the Brexit Party's star candidate. The 40-year-old married mother of one last appeared on the political stage in 2010 as the Tory candidate in Somerton and Frome, losing the Somerset seat to the Lib Dems by less than 2,000 votes. Ahead of the poll, it was claimed David Cameron asked her to shorten her name to Nancy Mogg, but she refused and later claimed, "I think it's phony to pretend to be someone you're not." Just like her older brother, Annunziata has been steeped in the family business of Tory politics since she was a child. She currently works as a director of the public affairs recruiter Wild Search. She previously worked as a journalist for the Daily Telegraph and the European Journal, a magazine printed by the think tank owned by Tory Brexiteer Sir Bill Cash. Annunziata married former soldier Matthew Glanville in 2010 and they have a daughter, Isadora. Last year Richard Tice applied to be Mayor of London in 2020 for the Tories, before leaving in disgust. Richard Tice, the founder of Leave Means Leave and Leave EU, is a former Tory who applied last year to be the Tory candidate for Mayor of London in 2020. He has since quit the Conservatives in disgust at the mess that is Brexit. He was unveiled as party chairman this morning, saying, "Mr. Tice said, I have concluded, frankly, enough is enough. We cannot, we must not, and we will not allow this complete and utter shambles in Westminster to continue. We know Britain can do so much better than this. That is why I have agreed to become the chairman of the Brexit Party." He also took a swipe at Theresa May, saying, "If we carry on under this leadership we will be here on Halloween night writing another begging letter. It must stop. There's a huge movement, ladies and gentlemen. This is a time to change politics for good." Mr. Habib at today's event, sitting between Nigel Farage and Annunziata Rees-Mogg. Ben Habib, according to the Brexit Party, he is CEO of First Property Group plc, an award-winning commercial property fund manager with operations in the United Kingdom and Central Europe. He appeared at today's launch event in Coventry wearing a Nigel Farage-esque jacket. He has a similar background to the Dulwich College-educated Brexit Party leader, in that he attended private school before working in the city. He attended Rugby School and Cambridge University before joining Shearson Lehman Brothers to work in corporate finance. He later set up First Property Group, which is based in and claims to control assets worth £730 million, including properties in Poland and Romania. June Mummery is a member of Fishing for Leave and is from Lowestoft in Suffolk. June Mummery, a member of Fishing for Leave and the managing director of Fish Market Auctioneers BFP Eastern in Lowestoft, in Suffolk, billed as a veteran Brexiteer who has spent years fighting for the rights of British fishermen by finally taking back controls of our waters. Last year she told the Eastern Daily Press that some people in the East Anglia fishing port call me Boudica, after the British Queen who led a doomed uprising against Roman rule almost 2,000 years ago. She is backing Brexit for the economic benefits she believes it will bring for the fishing industry, telling the same paper, "It's estimated that every job at sea is worth 10 on land. At the moment we have 14 boats selling into the market here, and overall there are about 500 people making a living from fish in the town. If Brexit goes our way, I believe the workforce will double in the next 10 to 15 years. Sagal Cuthbert is a Cambridge-educated former secondary school teacher. Sagal Cuthbert, billed by the party as a researcher, author, academic and educator who is a part-time English teacher and educational consultant. She boasts a PhD from Cambridge and worked as a secondary school teacher for almost 2 decades. She has also written for publications including The Independent and Spiked. In February, in the latter, she attacked the outcry over Muslim parents who wanted to block teaching about gay relationships at Parkfield School in Birmingham, on religious grounds. She branded it the politicization of primary education, writing, "This story reminds us that some schools have a very weak understanding of education, and an even weaker understanding of what real tolerance entails. Read more, let's block ads. Why?"